More than 600 bullets ripped through the deck of the American cargo ship in less than 3 minutes. 5 pirate boats closed in at 45 knots, each loaded with rocket-propelled grenades and heavy machine guns, firing furiously on a $250 million US-flagged cargo ship as if it were a carnival ride.
May 9th, 2025, off the lawless coast of Somalia, began like this, with 30 Somali gunmen laughing, shooting at stacks of cargo, and even trying to pry open the steel gates with rocket-propelled grenades, certain they would demand ransom and kill. What they didn't see was a U.S. aircraft carrier lurking just 412 nautical miles away, launching drones, Apache helicopters, and 3 Blackhawks carrying nearly 50 elite commandos determined to turn this pirate victory into a smoking graveyard. So, what did the U.S. thermal camera capture over that pirate layer a few hours later? And why did dozens of pirate layers across East Africa go dark the next day? Stick with us, because when you see how the U.S. responded, you'll understand why no pirates dare point their rifles at American ships anymore. At precisely 7:18 a.m. on May 9th, 2025, the unforgiving waters off Somalia became a stage for raw violence. A swarm of 5 pirate skiffs carrying at least 30 heavily armed Somali marauders surged across the choppy waves at 45 knots, engines howling like jackals. Their eyes were fixed on a prize of staggering value. The MV Redwood Star, an American-flagged cargo ship transporting over $250 million in high-tech industrial equipment bound for Southeast Asia. On board the Redwood Star were 23 sailors, mostly Americans and Filipinos, under the command of a seasoned 54-year-old captain from Galveston, Texas. They were well aware of pirate risks in these waters, yet nothing prepared them for the sheer audacity of this assault. The pirates, brandishing AK-47s, PK machine guns, and even RPG-7 launchers, let loose a chilling barrage of tracer fire into the salty air, a savage announcement of their intent. As the skiffs closed to under 200 yards, the crew took up defensive positions on the outer decks. Armed with shotguns and a few outdated semi-automatic rifles, they returned fire in controlled bursts. The ship's hull rattled with the deafening staccato of gunfire. Shell casings clinked and rolled across the steel plates. Sailors fired from behind bulkheads and cargo containers, hoping to drive the attackers back. But the pirates were well-practiced killers of the sea. They fanned out in coordinated lines, their machine guns laying down withering suppressive fire. Bullets sparked off deck winches and sliced through rigging. One crewman was struck in the shoulder, spinning him into a lifeboat cradle. Another deckhand narrowly avoided being torn apart by a burst of PK fire that chewed splinters from a wooden pallet inches from his head. Realizing the hopeless imbalance of firepower, the captain shouted over the ship's loudspeakers for an immediate fallback. The crew abandoned their posts, dragging the wounded sailor with them, retreating deep into the belly of the ship. They sealed themselves inside the reinforced citadel. Walls lined with hardened steel, emergency oxygen systems hissing to life, satellite distress beacons blinking urgently. Above them, the pirates scrambled aboard unchecked, yelling in triumph, their boots thundering across the Redwood Star's empty deck. They believed they had won. But below, in that sealed chamber, the captain gripped the radio microphone with white knuckles and whispered a final coded message to the U.S. Navy. Mayday, this is Redwood Star, under siege. Crew secure, awaiting your justice. The pirates had no idea they had merely walked into the jaws of something far more terrible. What would you do if you were the captain, locked in that steel room? Was his decision right or wrong? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe to help us bring you the latest information. When the distress signal from the MV Redwood Star reached the USS Independence, a towering American aircraft carrier cruising 400 nautical miles east of Somalia, it triggered an instant cold dread across the command deck. The Redwood Star's captain had sent a stark message. Under siege, crew secured in Citadel, immediate assistance required. That meant 23 American and Allied sailors were trapped defenseless behind steel doors, while armed pirates roamed freely above them. Failure to act quickly could turn the ship into a slaughterhouse. The admiral aboard the Independence wasted no time. He gave a single nod, and the carrier's vast machinery roared to life. Within 7 minutes, the flight deck swarmed with precision. 3 MH-60 Hawk helicopters armed with door-mounted Ju-7 miniguns lifted off first, set to sweep ahead and pinpoint the Redwood Star's exact location. Right behind them, 2 Apache gunships loaded with hydro rockets and 30mm chain guns took flight to lay down overwhelming fire if needed. But the true punch came next. 3 Blackhawk helicopters, each packed with roughly 50 Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders, fully equipped in body armor, NVGs, and bristling M4 carbines prepared to launch. Their mission was clear: secure the deck, eliminate any pirate resistance, and reach the Citadel before a breach could occur. Back in the carrier's combat center, operators tracked live infrared feeds from drones sweeping the cargo ship. Thermal signatures glowed bright inside the Citadel. Proof the crew was still holding out. A junior officer whispered, "They're alive, but the pirates are moving closer to the Citadel hatch." Every second mattered. The carrier's admiral leaned forward, his face set like stone. "Launch all assets. No delays. Those are our people." The helicopters thundered off the deck and cut low across the waves, racing against the clock. On board, the SEAL team leader gripped his rifle and checked his radio. 23 trapped sailors depended on them now, and he intended to bring every one of them home. What about you? Do you think these pirates stand a chance against American steel and training? Share your thoughts below, and let's see how intense this fight gets. At exactly 8:12 a.m., the first American helicopters sliced through the salty air above the MV Redwood Star. The deck was alive with chaos. Over a dozen pirates, heavily armed with AK-47s and PK machine guns, prowled the cargo hatches, kicking doors and firing sporadic bursts toward the superstructure, searching for a way into the Citadel below. The lead Seahawk swept in fast, its gunners unleashing a terrifying torrent of 7.62mm rounds from twin GA-17 6-barrel miniguns, spraying over 2,000 rounds in under a minute. Bullets ripped through steel containers and shredded the pirates' makeshift barricades. Stunned by the sheer volume of fire, the pirates scattered, some diving behind winches, others flat on the deck, clutching their rifles. Seconds later, the Apaches arrived, hovering like silent executioners. One pirate foolish enough to run into the open was cut down, instantly by a 30mm chain gun burst, his body thrown backward in a red spray. Another cluster of gunmen tried to rally near the starboard cranes, but a short rocket strike from an Apache obliterated their position, sending twisted steel raining down. Then came the real storm. 3 Blackhawks roared overhead, ropes uncoiled, and nearly 50 Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders slid down in disciplined waves. Within seconds, the Americans formed combat wedges across the deck, rifles scanning, voices shouting tight commands over headsets. The pirates attempted to regroup, firing desperate volleys from behind a bulk stack of crates, but the SEALs responded with chilling precision, controlled double taps, each bullet finding a chest or a head. One pirate, bracing an RPG on a railing, was dropped by 2 shots to the sternum before he could even aim. Another tried to flank the Americans and was met by a hail of M4 fire that ripped him off his feet. Within just 6 minutes, the deck was secure. 8 pirates lay dead, sprawled in widening pools of blood. Another 4 were on their knees, weapons tossed aside, hands trembling atop their heads, eyes darting in terror at the Americans moving toward them with zip-tie cuffs. A SEAL team leader gave a clipped update over the radio. Deck secured, 0 friendly casualties, preparing to breach and recover crew. It was surgical, ruthless, but above all, it was unmistakably American. Where the pirates had relied on wild volleys and sheer audacity, the U.S. forces brought training, coordination, and overwhelming fire discipline. In under 10 minutes, the Redwood Star had been retaken, and the once mighty band of Somali gunmen reduced to corpses and shaking prisoners. Come with me, and witnessed the U.S. military take down a pirate. By 9:30 a.m., barely an hour after the Redwood Star had been secured, the captured Somali pirates were already kneeling on the deck of the USS Independence, hands bound behind them, eyes darting in fear. Under the scorching sun, two Navy interrogators worked fast, aided by translators and intelligence officers. Within 20 minutes, the frightened prisoners revealed what the Navy needed: precise GPS coordinates for their coastal base. A cluster of shacks, fuel dumps, and weapons caches hugging a rocky Somali inlet about 27 mi inland from the beach. The admiral didn't hesitate. Orders rippled through the carrier's combat center. Almost immediately, a flight of 4 MQ-9 Reaper drones, each carrying Hellfire missiles and GBU-12 laser-G-guided bombs, was rerouted from a patrol grid to strike the target. At the same time, a satellite sweep confirmed thermal signatures. Roughly 40 to 50 armed men, several trucks, and heat sources consistent with fuel barrels and hidden ammunition stacks. At 10:04 a.m., the first drone fired. A Hellfire missile streaked downward at nearly 1,000 bomber, smashing directly into the largest hut. The explosion tore through the camp, sending fireballs and debris 200 ft into the air. Secondary blasts followed instantly as stored munitions ignited one after another. A chain reaction that turned the pirate base into a flaming graveyard. Over the next 6 minutes, 3 more Reapers unleashed their payloads with surgical precision. Infrared video feeds aboard the Independence lit up with brilliant flashes as smaller shacks, technical trucks with mounted machine guns, and rows of parked skiffs erupted under repeated impacts. One bomb found a hidden cache of RPGs, setting off a violent detonation that threw burning shards half a mile across the scrubland. By 10:12 a.m., the pirate stronghold was reduced to smoking craters and scattered wreckage. Naval analysts estimated over 80% of the pirates' fighting manpower and equipment was destroyed in under 10 minutes. No American aircraft came within rifle range. It was all conducted by remote eyes and deadly precision guided ordnance. A SEAL watching the live drone feed muttered, "They'll think twice before they ever look sideways at an American ship again." Another simply nodded, still gripping his rifle as the black plumes of burning diesel curled into the morning sky. No messy, drawn-out gunfights, no American lives put at further risk, just overwhelming reach, technology, and resolve. The pirates who had terrorized these waters for years saw their empire obliterated in minutes. A message written in fire and steel across the Somali coast, ensuring every surviving raider understood exactly who ruled these seas. The obliteration of the pirate base sent shockwaves through every smuggler's radio across the Somali coast. Within hours, intercepted transmissions revealed panic. Pirate groups that had brazenly boasted of taking American ships now ordered their skiffs hauled inland. Engines dismantled, fuel drums buried. They had watched entire compounds, men and fortunes vanish in under 10 minutes, all without a single U.S. boot ever touching their sand. Satellite imagery over the next 72 hours confirmed it. Normally bustling pirate anchorages were abandoned, slipways empty, and suspicious vessels steered well clear of commercial lanes. Where the Indian Ocean had once swarmed with small bands chasing ransom money, there was now only open, unchallenged water. The sudden drop was so steep that shipping insurers noted it in global risk bulletins within days. Meanwhile, the USS Independence maintained station with her carrier group, rotating Seahawk patrols and drone reconnaissance flights. Each pass of an American warship or black silhouette of a drone in the sky was enough to scatter any remaining pirate craft. The pirates knew what followed. Satellites above, Reapers circling beyond eyesight, and, if needed, a steel rain they could neither see nor outrun. A retired admiral, speaking to a small group of naval strategists in Norfolk, summed it up best. It didn't take months of costly convoy escorts. It took one hard strike, delivered without hesitation, to reset the rules. From now on, pirates won't be calculating ransoms. they'll be calculating how quickly they can run. For the 23 crew members of the Redwood Star, the nightmare was over. For every pirate along that battered stretch of coast, the message burned clear into the dirt and ash. Threatening American lives was no longer a gamble for money. It was a guarantee of annihilation. In less than a single morning, the U.S. Navy and its elite forces dismantled an entire pirate operation that had taken years to build. What began with a brazen attack on an American merchant vessel ended with smoldering ruins on the Somali coast, and a shattered criminal network now too terrified to approach a shipping lane. For the 23 sailors of the Redwood Star, their safe emergence from the citadel and first breath of fresh air on the deck was more than just survival. It was a powerful testament to American promise. When they called for help, that help arrived not with hesitation or bureaucracy, but with the full weight of a superpower's wrath, delivered with unmatched precision. Across the region, whispers of the raid raced faster than the wind. Pirates pulled their boats inland. Families fled notorious coastal hideouts, and old smuggling bosses went silent. Insurance rates for merchant shipping dipped for the first time in years. A handful of decisive hours had done more than months of diplomatic warnings and half-hearted patrols. This operation was more than a rescue. It was a clear signal etched into steel, sky, and sea. Anyone daring to threaten American lives or cargo would not just face a fight, they'd face annihilation. It's a doctrine as old as the nation's first frigates and still alive today, carried by jets, drones, SEALs, and the unwavering commitment of the U.S. Navy. If you found this story powerful, please like and subscribe.